attention, you have to put that work in yourself. And in a sense, it seems like you're selling out to whatever powers that be that are now sort of forcing you to go down this avenue. And it's not just the content creators, like I said, it's not just the people that you would expect to have to do that. It's regular people that may have never had to have that as a resume item. And when we look at the way that a lot of content creators are quitting, or with the YouTube sort of quitting revolution, it's because there's just so much to keep up with, having to post on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, every single platform to stay relevant. It's tiring, and it doesn't feel good. You don't want to have to do all of that, sort of like that rat race where everyone is just trying to stay on top of things. I think that there's this itching feeling that a lot of creators get, because if we take YouTube, for example, where you see a topic is trending, then you have that feeling to post about the same topic because it's trending. Or you're a designer and you see this design trend is happening and you feel like you have to put content out about that same topic. There's that feeling of being a sellout. There's that feeling of you're compromising something, because it's like maybe you naturally wouldn't have wanted to do that. You want to just do whatever you want and to have an audience. You want to do whatever you want and people are interested. But because of the algorithm and many other reasons, like, it's not like that, because enough people are willing to just follow the algorithm. They are willing to just follow the trends, and the algorithm loves that, or the algorithm rewards that. And so you can oftentimes get drowned out if you do want to be more authentic or true to yourself or your values or what you're interested in posting. And I think a lot of creators fall into that, and you can get burned out really easily. We're just seeing how many elements that there are and how competitive the landscape has really become. It's not as straightforward anymore. It's not, there's just so many more moving parts and elements that make it difficult. Competition was always a part of the game. So if Lucky Charms changes their design on their box, and there's a great reaction by the public, and everyone's like, oh yeah, that was so cute, I loved that, and it's working for whatever, it's going viral, right? Trix is going to see that, and they're going to go, I need to do what they're doing, because clearly it's working for them. And now Trix is changing their branding in order to keep up with the times. And this is where we see that rat race where everybody is in competition with themselves. And it's not just the major corporations as it traditionally was, it's the influencers. So competition has always been a thing, and it will continue to be a thing for creators. We won't be able to escape the fact that everyone's posting online. There's billions of people posting, because it's just a life that affords you more freedom. You don't have to be constrained to a corporation, 9 to 5 work hours. You really can have a little bit more agency on how you make money, so it's completely understandable. That's why a lot of people fall into posting the same things, following trends, and just not being as authentic as I think a lot of people would if the algorithm wasn't there and they made more efforts in order to test out new content with new viewers and sort of prevented people from getting into a silo. End of the day, I think change is always happening. If you go 10 years back, no one would have guessed that this is where we were going to be in this sort of landscape of content creation, especially with TikTok. That was the most recent huge change that I'm sure a lot of people didn't expect and that they didn't see coming. And I feel like that gave a lot of opportunity for people, and there's always going to be a new app, a new social media platform. So I think that's actually something comforting to know that we always adapt, we always make it work. Content creators are going to have to move to a more authentic place, because the way to not get burnt out and just the way to make social media a more enjoyable place is to post more authentic content. And if you have something to say, to post then. But I feel like a lot of people fall into that mentality, to where they feel like in order to stay on top, in order to stay relevant, they have to just post anything that's trending. And I feel like it's more genuine when you actually add to a conversation or add to a trend with something new, something a bit more creative and innovative, with your own twist, your own personal twist. And I think people are going to start to move back to that time where it was a little bit more authentic and people were a bit more experimental and willing to fail. People are just too aware of how much it can affect your life. And I think that goes for everybody. Some people were toying with the idea that they'll remove likes comment, subscriber count, like you won't be able to see that anymore. And so just sort of those metrics that get in a lot of people's way from being authentic and just trying out new things might disappear. And I think that is a scary idea to think of, because then how do you measure yourself up? How do you compete with others if you don't know what's doing well? You don't know how you stand out. But like I said, that's why authenticity is going to come back, and that's why putting out original ideas is going to become popular again, because if you don't know what's actually performing well, then there's more space for you to do whatever you want as a creator. In return, regular people won't be asked to start posting on social media in hopes of getting jobs. Like an accountant won't have to post on LinkedIn and all these other websites in order to get a job. It won't be a resume item anymore, because you can no longer measure somebody's success based on how well they were able to build their personal brand and market themselves. Yeah, I think this is all just so absolutely interesting, and it's just a huge change for everybody. The world is changing for everybody. I'm interested to see how this evolves, and hopefully it's in a positive manner. Hopefully it's in a way that benefits the public, and it benefits the industry of content creation, and that people are still able to promote themselves, of course, and still able to make a name for themselves, but hopefully it's just in a more healthy way, and in a way that avoids that feeling of selling out, or that feeling of burning yourself out because you're just doing things that you don't really want to do that aren't genuinely you. That's all I have for you. Tell me what you think about social media and how it's been changing, and if you've been noticing any differences on social media. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.
This week at Hy-Vee, get ham for the same price as in 2005. That's the same price as nearly 20 years.
This video is brought to you by Squarespace. The best one us know better. But to be more specific, today we're going to be talking about the top 5 reasons that, in my opinion, you shouldn't start a YouTube channel. These points are based on the biggest things that I've learned over the past 2 years of working on my own. Both things that I expected but underestimated the significance or impact of, and the things that I didn't expect and definitely wish I had known before starting. I've had a lot of people reach out to me asking for advice on starting their own channels, asking what it's like to run one, asking if I would recommend getting into art commentary, speed paints, and the like, and so on. And after learning everything I have a lot of different answers to those questions. Enough to make a video about, so I am. And no, I'm not saying YouTube sucks and you should never follow your dreams and make a channel, be it an art channel or something else altogether, if that is, in fact, your dream. But I am saying that if any of these 5 reasons not to would be problems for you, it might be a good idea to reconsider. But before we get into that, let me take a moment to thank today's sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace is a website building and hosting platform, and honestly, at this point, after using it for months, running my art studio on it, and switching my whole personal portfolio over to it, they don't have my endorsement because they're paying me to talk about them. They have my endorsement because I love them. I would give them my kidneys if they asked. They've made my life so much easier, to the point that I actually enjoyed building my sites with their templates and tools, and that's a process that normally makes me want to lay down on the sidewalk, stare at the sky, and regretfully ponder the horrible life choices that led me to that moment. If you're an artist who wants to display their work on a portfolio that looks clean and professional and is options that you can check out Squarespace to get 10% off your first domain purchase. Now, all that aside, let's...
So it finally happened. They released more Megamind content, a second movie along with the series. It sucks. It sucks.
I forgot they want me dead.
I need to start this video off with telling you a little bit about myself. When Megamind came out in 2010, I must have been like 11 years old, I think. And it became my favorite movie. I used to watch Megamind every single day. And I'm not over-exaggerating. I am being serious. I've watched it every day. For a while, maybe like a year, I watched it every day, which would happen to me whenever I liked a movie. I would just watch it constantly. But Megamind was always my favorite. And it really hasn't changed. I'm almost 23 now, and I watch it multiple times a year. I didn't know that was weird, by the way, until like I started telling people that I would watch it every day. I believe it it was 2022 when DreamWorks like officially announced that there was more Megamind coming, but we didn't know much about it. I think we just heard that there was a movie and a series coming, but that's all we knew. So at the time, that was so exciting because Megamind felt like one of those movies that was just kind of forgotten by most people. But I think when people who watched that movie as a kid grew up, they kind of realize that it's still a really good movie, and you kind of hits different when you're an adult because you realize like this is actually a good movie. It's not just something I liked when I was a kid. Like, this is actually really good. You know what I mean? When Megamind came out, it was around a similar time when the first How to Train Your Dragon movie came out and the first Despicable Me movie came out. So it kind of got overshadowed and forgotten about by most people, not by me. Megamind is an incredible movie, and I highly recommend you watch it before watching this video because I'm mostly going to be talking about the new one. But the first movie is excellent. That's all you need to watch. Let's just start with that. You don't need to watch the new ones. Just watch the first original movie. Okay, trust me. I think Megamind was like before its time. It's aged very well. It's funny. It always makes me laugh, and it has a really good story to it. And it's got a lot of like kind of deeper like themes to it, you know. So I'm obviously going to be spoiling the movie in this video as well as spoiling the new movie. Not that there's much to spoil on the new movie, but still, I will be spoiling things. So if you want to watch that first, then do. As far as we knew from the first movie, Megamind was the only alien-like creature on Earth, as well as Metro Man being the only superhero-like guy. And the first movie is really about Megamind figuring out what his destiny is, thinking he was destined to be a villain, but realizing that's not what he actually wants. And he ends up falling in love with a human along the way. It was only recently when we got the trailer of the new movie and series, and I was really confused as soon as I saw it, because I noticed in the trailer they were using a lot of scenes that were just from the first movie, which I feel like is always pretty suspicious. And after I finished watching the trailer, I thought, okay, so that's the trailer for the show. And then I realized, no, it's actually the trailer for the movie. And I knew what was going to happen. I knew it was going to be bad. It was immediately obvious that there was a lower budget for this new movie and series. See, the first movie came out in 2010, but the animation is really good and has aged super well. It still looks great in my opinion. So seeing a huge downgrade, and we're in 2024 now, is kind of a big surprise. I do understand, like, when they make shows from a movie, like DreamWorks has done with, like, Kung Fu Panda and other things like that. Boss Baby, I think. I'm
Bye.
watchable.